12 countries already fly it. Nearly 1,400 are in service worldwide. The F-35 Lightning II is widely regarded as the world's most advanced fighter jet, and the United States has offered it to India. US President Donald Trump personally pitched the offer to PM Modi, but India decided to turn it down. Despite facing a shrinking fighter fleet and an expanding stealth gap with China and Pakistan, Delhi has shown little interest in America's flagship combat aircraft. So why did India turn down the world's most advanced operational fighter jet? What's really driving this decision? Cost, control, or politics? And does India's fifth-generation fighter gap just get a whole lot bigger? We are breaking down the offer, the alternatives, and the real reasons behind India's decision. The F-35 entered the conversation in February 2025, when President Donald Trump announced alongside Prime Minister Narendra Modi that the United States would be increasing military sales to India and was paving the way for the F-35.
Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
Vice President J.D. Vance later reinforced that message, suggesting deeper defense cooperation could naturally lead to India acquiring more American military platforms. But Delhi responded cautiously. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri clarified that the proposal remained exactly that, a proposal. No acquisition process had begun. The US Congressional Research Service estimates India could spend more than $200 billion on military modernization over the next decade, making it one of the world's biggest defense markets. Unsurprisingly, several countries are competing for a share of that spending. Reports now confirm India has communicated its lack of interest to Washington, and the reasons go well beyond price. Analysts point out that buying the F-35 would mean accepting strict American oversight over its software, source code, and data systems, the kind of control that limits how independently India could operate and upgrade its own fighter fleet. For a country actively building its own combat aircraft industry, that's a hard trade-off to accept. On paper, the F-35 is arguably the best fifth-generation fighter available. But for India, the challenges begin long before the aircraft ever takes off. The first is cost. Depending on the variant, acquisition prices are estimated at around $80 to $110 million per aircraft, with operating and maintenance costs remaining among the highest in the world. Second is dependence. The F-35 relies heavily on US-controlled software, logistics, and upgrade systems. For a country pursuing defense self-reliance, that raises concerns about operational autonomy. Third is compatibility. India already operates the Russian S-400 air defense system alongside its Su-30 MKI fleet. Washington has previously argued that operating Russian systems alongside the F-35 could risk exposing sensitive stealth technology, a concern that led to Turkey's removal from the F-35 program. And finally, there is trust. India's experience with GE Aerospace has raised questions about relying on critical American defense supply chains. Delays in deliveries of F-404 engines for the Tejas Mk1A program have already slowed aircraft production, making policymakers wary of taking on an even larger US-dependent platform. Rather than spending billions on another imported fighter, India appears to be doubling down on its own. In September 2025, the government signed a 623.70 billion rupee contract with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for indigenous fighter production, part of its broader push for a defense self-reliance. The centerpiece of that strategy is the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or AMCA. The prototype is expected to roll out around late 2026 or early 2027, with the first flight expected roughly 30 months after the development contract is finalized. If timelines hold, induction into the Indian Air Force is targeted for the mid-2030s. For the initial prototypes, AMCA will use GE 414 engines, while India simultaneously works with international partners to develop an indigenous high-thrust engine for future versions. The strategy is straightforward. Invest in capabilities India can ultimately build, upgrade, and control itself. Technology transfer remains another major factor. Many defense analysts argue that previous American fighter proposals focused primarily on selling aircraft rather than transferring cutting-edge technology or enabling large-scale manufacturing in India. Russia's competing Su-57 offer, at least on paper, promises a greater degree of technology transfer. But many analysts believe that the real answer lies elsewhere. Not in buying another interim fighter, but in accelerating AMCA and Tejas Mk2, even if that demands greater short-term patience. India has not formally rejected the F-35. Instead, it has chosen to wait while investing billions into its own aerospace industry. Whether that decision proves visionary or leaves the Indian Air Force facing a widening stealth gap before AMCA arrives is a question only the next decade can answer. What do you think? Should India have bought the F-35, considered Russia's Su-57, or stayed the course with AMCA? Let us know in the comments.
If they had a nuclear weapon,
the old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
No tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare, and in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.